you in advance if tomorrow morning you call. I got the windows rolled down, got the radio up, and I'm heading out of Vegas tonight. And it's a 1:30 on a 4-day run, and the desert is a welcome sight. I can see you there in that dress you wear, and it's keeping my foot on the gas.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the K-Ghost Radio Network and its website are those of the host, guest, and participants, and they are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcast, management, or advertisers of the network. The show is found under LGA Broadcasting Network. UFO Talk Radio can, but does not necessarily promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and they are not intended to treat or diagnose and or claim to cure any disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. All music is purchased and owned by LGA Broadcasting.
Now, broadcasting live from deep in the desert of Nevada, K-Ghost Radio presents UFOTalkRadio.com with your host, Larry Glenn Anderson, Glenn Larry. Now, to have some fun, right along with us, broadcasting live deep from the desert of Nevada. Welcome to the Glenn Larry Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome, my friends and fans from all over the world, and family, and from the high desert here in the great America Southwest, broadcasting deep from the deserts of Nevada. I am Glenn Larry. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be. We are live. That's right. The LG Broadcasting Networks presents the Glenn Larry Show. To all my affiliates out there and the small broadcasters and, may I say, low-powered stations, and for those carrying us everywhere, all of the United States, shortwave to internet stations, and 73s to all my ham operators. That's right. And to the Silent Key, Whiskey 60 Baker Baker. You know who that is, Art Bell. That's right. We love him dearly. KPFF, Prump, Nevada, what a great station you have up there. Keep going. We're all for you. KBHR 57 AM, Pacific, Alaska. Hello to you and to the whole world out there. I am Glenn Larry, and we're going to have a good time tonight. Yes, tonight's show is very special. We've been talking about UFOs, and of course, we do a lot of that. And may I say, it's the most interesting subject I've ever spoken about in my life. And I've been studying UFOs all my life since I was a child. I've had experiences. I've seen myself. I've spoken to people that have seen themselves also. And what great stories they have. Oh, my gosh. I tell you, they are incredible. I'm going to have a man here tonight, very soon on the air. His name's Bair, and he's quite a unique gentleman. And he saw something very special in 1967, and we'll tell you more about that. This gentleman will be on very soon. Once again, I want to thank all my affiliates out there for listening to and broadcasting K-Ghost Radio and UFOTalkRadio.com and all the other stations we have on the air. My thanks goes out to Sheldon Battery out there. Thanks so much for supporting our studios. If you want to talk about batteries and things going on, call 702-362-8180. And hello to Carpet Tiles USA. Thank you to Mr. Fan. That gentleman donated the carpets to the station and some tiles. Tiles and carpet. If you want to know about that stuff and what to buy and what not to buy, we do thank you, friend. His number is, here's his number now, 702-265-4419. That's right. And don't forget about Ray's Honey. And you'll see that on my web pages out there and on our shows and stuff. And if I have some good callers tonight, we'll send you a jar of that incredible honey that helps you with your allergies and all that. I take myself. Yeah, it's for my stuff. It's my person. It works. If it worked for me, I hope it works for you. And it's a free jar. So give me a good story later on this night when we actually at 7:30 call in, and also to talk to this gentleman that I'll have on very soon. And we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, right after this. Once again, stand by for the most incredible show tonight that I think is very interesting.
Every day, people are afraid to report violent crimes. In times like these, choosing to report a crime or helping the police can be a difficult decision. A no-snitching culture has sprung up in our communities, making it unpopular and sometimes even dangerous to report a crime. Do the right thing by calling 911 or your local crime tip line. If you're the victim of a crime, report it. If you know about a crime, report it. To learn more about how to do the right thing, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Mom, you wanted to talk to me?
The calendar hypnosis into thumbtack cushion, completely tailwind. And sewing elephants plant before cartoon paper cups. So numbers renovate.
If your teenager is trying drugs or alcohol, would you know the right words to use?
Afterward, lightly fish scale. Doorbell.
Find out what to say at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Now, to have some fun, right along with us, broadcasting live deep from the desert of Nevada. Welcome to the Glenn Leary Show. And now, back to the Glenn Leary Show.
And we are back. Oh my gosh. Our loves and prayers go out to Texas, ladies and gentlemen. They're having a heck of a bad time down there with no power. A gentleman today just told me about that. I've read about it, heard about it, but didn't know how serious it really was. But it is serious. Apparently, they're on the generators and all those special devices that bring in power, and their grid is just overloaded, and now they have no power, and they're having a heck of a hard time, and people are dying. And it's more serious than you understand what you see on the news, everybody. And I've got it from a very reliable source. Now, we're going to talk about UFOs tonight. And I want to thank you. Well, number one, it took me a while to get a hold of this gentleman, and he's an incredible person, Kenneth Bair. And this gentleman, and I always say this, right, Elnora, are you there? Are you there, Keith? Kenneth, are you there? Kenneth? Are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Well, bless your heart. You
yes,
know,
I am.
And we talked a while back on October 6th, I think it was, of 2000, or 2020, and you had an incredible story that we talked about. And tell me, in 1967, you saw the most incredible thing you ever seen in your life at nighttime by 11:30, and it changed your life, and you have a story that you want to get out, and you want to tell everything about the story and leave nothing out. This is your chance, and Kenneth, I'm glad to have you on the air. I really am. Can you tell us where it was at, and again, what day and time, and where were you, how did it happen, and go into the story.
Well, it was in the, I'd say about August the 27th, August the 28th of 1967. I personally saw a UFO land. I didn't know what it was. I saw it land. I saw it take off. It was on the ground for 5 minutes, if not longer. It took a couple minutes for the military to get there and clear the area off.
Uh-huh.
This area was in Enola, Pennsylvania. It was on Tower Road. There was a radio broadcasting tower there on Tower Road. That's why it's called Tower Road. And I saw what you would never believe you'd ever see land. Now,
actually I'm sorry.
It had no lights on it, or anything like that, and I really didn't know what it was. But the military come and they lit the area up, and what I saw, I didn't want to believe.
My gosh.
Now, I could see this black object coming down slow, but it didn't make no noise. There was no lights. It landed. There was no dirt. There was no noise. There was nothing. It was just like a bubble coming down. And it's something that you'll never, ever see again. I never saw one again, and that was 1967. But what I seen looked like a torque converter from an automobile, a very large torque converter. I would say it was at least 40 foot wide.
Wow.
It was round. It was like a metallic dark gray.
Okay.
But it had no lights.
Now, was it dark out when you saw this? What illuminated the craft that you could see it? It was dark out at 11:30. What?
They had generators.
Okay.
They had a generator truck.
Okay.
They lit it up. They must have known it was coming in. How, I don't know. But they sealed that area. You couldn't get in there, and it was stone road. It wasn't blacktop. Not in 1967.
Right.
It was just something that you see it once, you will never leave your mind.
Well, I imagine
It
so.
will never leave your mind, and I'll never forget. I went there. I drove a 1948 Pontiac Silver Streak.
Nice car.
You know, that's what I had. That was my transportation.
Nice.
I had a mobile gas station on routes 11 and 15 in Enola, Pennsylvania. And at night, the cops would come in there and we'd all talk because we didn't have traffic back then like it got today.
Right.
And that call come in over the radio. I don't know who called it in. They pulled out of there. One of the cops must have been there because that's a damaged cruiser car. But anyhow, I closed the station. I went there, and what I seen, I'll never forget, and I'll probably never see it again. And I was within, I'd say 600-700 foot of this thing. I was behind a house on Tower Road.
And they did they know that
Tower Road itself?
Did they know that you were there? Did you get to before it landed or after it landed? I mean, how did you get to see it?
No, I got to see it coming down before it landed. It come down slow. I would say at a speed maybe 25, 30 mile an hour, but there was no noise. There was nothing.
Wow.
Who actually called it in and noted it was up on top of Tower Road up in the mountains hovering? Who seen it? Of course, that was a good spot for kids to go to, you know, and hang out up on the top of the mountains. Who called it in, I don't know, but I was at the gas station with all the cops, and that call come in. And I know every one of the cops' names to this day. They're all dead. But I know each and every one of them, and I got to know them quite well.
Right.
But it scared the one police officer that bad that he hit some ruts in that road coming down. And he ripped the wheels right out from underneath the front of the cruiser car.
My gosh.
That would have been an East Pennsboro cruiser car.
Wow.
Now, today, if you check on this, there is no reports to be found. They made them disappear.
I did some research, and there was an incident that happened, but they said it was lights in the sky. They would not say what it was. And that's about as far as I could get. And I really dug. And is there anyone alive right now that you can think of that saw that craft?
Nobody. Every one of the police officers are dead, including the guy that towed the car. He had a junkyard there in Marysville, Pennsylvania. And he's gone now too. Jack's been dead. It was Jack Fry's Auto Salvage. He's been dead about 3 years now.
How old are you, Kenneth? May I ask?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 74 years old. I'll be 75 on August the 23rd.
Good age. That's great. I'm thinking there had to be somebody else that either lived in that house or lived around there that saw exactly what you saw. And I sure wish there'd be an investigation to find those people.
I tried to talk to one of the guys that lived in one of the houses. I know it lived there at the time of it, here about 15 years ago, and he ordered me off his property.
Huh.
Yep.
I wonder if someone could put an ad in the paper asking for witnesses, what have you, of that date. Do you know what exact date it was?
I think it was somewhere around the 28th.
Of?
I went to the library in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
And I went through the archives and the newspapers, and everything it's gone, but it was in the papers for quite a while.
Okay.
But when I went to check on it here 2 years ago, it's gone. It's not there.
What month do you think that was?
It was August.
Oh, August. Okay, good. I'm sorry, I probably got that in here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, there's ways of finding out. Still, articles. If it's been written somewhere, someone has that. And
it's written.
Yeah.
It was written.
And if there's anybody out there that lived around that area or knows about this story, August 28th, 1967. And that's in Enola, right? That's how you say it?
Enola,
Pennsylvania. Yeah. And that happened about 11:30. I mean, how did you feel? I mean, did you smell anything at all when this thing came down? Did you? I mean, I had to have some radiation to it. Did it do any damage to the area around it? Or?
No, but the ground did have radiation in it because somebody had come in the store and questioned me about that, and I took them down and showed them that they had some type of device to measure the radiation. They said there was still light radiation there.
Huh. And did this craft? When this craft came down, Kenneth, did it have legs when it came down? It landed on pads? How did it land?
Well, I would say what it landed on was permanent. It wasn't something that come out like, with a hydraulic leg or something. It was something that was permanent.
Like around this.
It did have an opening. It did have an opening on the craft. The opening, it was open. The military took pictures from outside, but they didn't get that close to it.
And nothing came out.
Now, you got to remember, this thing sat there, nothing come out. If they would have had been a midget because it was not that thick. It may have been 4 foot, maybe 4.5 foot. It wasn't that thick. If whatever was in there would have been awful small. It was just something that I got in my mind. I can't get it out. It'll never go. I've talked about it to several people, and I only ever talked to one really investigator, and that was Stan Gordon.
Yes.
I went personally up to Greenburgh, Pennsylvania, where he lived, and I talked to him about it, and I've seen some pretty interesting stuff that he had because he does investigate them. I mean,
very good.
I've seen stuff that I've never seen before.
Yeah, he's an incredible man, and he is incredible. He is credible. He is the researcher of all researchers. We were supposed to have him on. We'll have him on, I believe, in April. So that's going to be that. He's a very busy person, and apparently this pandemic up there in Pennsylvania is pretty bad also still. But he is a very busy man, and but he's taken the time to call me back, and we've spoken. And yeah, I've read his stuff and seen the movies and all sorts of things. Almost fantastic stories he can tell, and we're going to hear them too. Trust me.
Yeah. You don't realize how smart he is until you go to where he works out of his house. And you see what's in there. I mean, as far as ham radios and other stuff. Now, this has been quite a while ago. This would say I went to see him in the 80s. And I've been up there maybe 3 times. And it's just incredible what he's gathered through all the years of him doing this.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're going to talk. I may go out there myself, but we're going to have them on the station ourselves, on our different stations. But no, let's go back to your story. When you saw the craft come down, what type of landing gear did it have? Did it just have like a solid thing in the middle that came down, or it set on a platter or something? Or
No. It was solid, but it was like bar-like.
Okay.
It was like bar-like. And it landed just nice and soft, but
yeah,
there was no dirt. There was nothing. There was nothing. It was silent. It was silent, and it left silent, but there was no lights, none whatsoever, even when it left. But in the nighttime, I could only see it. I don't know the distance it went up, and then it just disappeared.
About how long would you say it stayed?
How long did I see it?
Yeah, how long do you think it was there?
I think it may have been there close to 10 minutes.
And how did the military react to the craft? What were they doing? Taking pictures?
They were walking around. They were walking around, looking at it and taking pictures.
How many?
But they did not try and win that opening.
Mm-hmm. How many military would you say showed up?
I don't know if that military would have come out of Newcomb, Army Depot, which is about 8 miles away, or it could have come from Fort Indian Town Gap, which is about 22 miles. Military trucks are military trucks. You don't know where they come from.
No. Now, you've heard of...
these guys were in uniform.
You've heard of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, correct?
Yes, I did.
About that UFO that landed, looked like an acorn. And I guess that was a 1973 time out there.
Well,
there's several different types of crafts that are out there. And I don't know if yours was maybe a kind of a drone ship, maybe, that came down, check out things, what have you. Were there any more sightings in that area after your sighting? Did you hear of anything else?
I heard of one more that happened in Susquehanna Township. That's directly from where this one landed. I heard one landed in a church parking lot over there in Susquehanna Township. And apparently there was something sprayed from this thing when it left that damaged the Susquehanna Township police car.
Oh, interesting.
You got to check on that, because I think one of the officers, I won't give his name, lost his job because he got on a radio talk show and he told too much.
Well, what year was that? Was that in the 660 what? Or
that would have been within a year. It would have probably been a year or so after what I seen.
68. And would you remember what month and date, or by chance day?
No, it would have been in the summertime.
Summertime, okay.
That's all best I can tell you. But I know there was a police officer fired over that, and I'll tell you whose radio show he was on.
Go ahead.
And it wasn't only on radio, it was on TV. It was called E.T. Monitor.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The guy's name was Robert Barry. And this police officer got on the show and said what he shouldn't have said, and he lost his job for it.
Incredible.
Them's the only two incidents that I can really tell you about. And I know about the one in Kecksburg. And that must have been something up there, though I haven't, I didn't see it or anything.
Right.
But that, I believe, was another true incident.
What happened there?
Well, I guess it landed outside of a pond, and the military retrieved that. Stan Gordon can tell you all about that one.
I shall ask him to.
I think he's got pictures of the military retrieving it.
Okay, we're going to take a little just a short radio break here for my announcers and for my affiliates out there, so we go to commercial. We'll be right back. Okay, stand by.
Okay, sure.
I sure appreciate you, my friend. Stand by.
There's no typical meth user. I was from an upper middle class family. Meth is terribly addictive. My first time using it, I was hooked. There was no turning back. I lost my job. I was homeless. I never thought I'd see my family again. I have a great fear of meth because it took so much of me. I mean, it took everything. Meth took over my soul.
Visit our website at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Violence, theft, drugs, graffiti. It's all part of joining a gang. In times like these, we need to protect our children and our community from gangs. Gangs often prey on unsupervised teens with low self-esteem, who perform poorly in school, who seek a sense of belonging, or are simply bored. Joining a gang often involves violent hazing rituals. Once in a gang, members can become alienated from their families, school, and friends. Drugs, guns, and malicious activity are common elements in gangs. Trying to leave a gang can be a difficult and dangerous process. The best way to get out of a gang is never to join one. Protect kids from being recruited by a gang. Know who they're hanging out with. Involve kids in after-school activities and provide positive role models. Help reduce gang activities in your community by working with local law enforcement and school systems. Don't let a kid you know get involved with gangs. Visit ncpc.org to learn more or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message.
It's now time for the Glenn Larry Show on UFOTalkRadio.com.
And we are back, everybody, with Kenneth Bair, and his story had to be told. That's right, 1967. He saw a UFO, real thing, land, and quite a story it is. Kenneth, are you on the line? You with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, brother. Thanks so very much. And so here you are. You arrive by this house. Are you hiding behind the house? Where are you at that time when you saw this?
I'm behind the house. I'm alongside of it.
And does the military see you at all? Or
no
one sees you. Great.
No.
Too bad you didn't have a camera. God. Oh, that would have been priceless.
Yeah. But cameras in 1967. They
weren't the
I was
best.
only 21 years old. I really didn't care about a camera.
I hear you there, my friend.
But I tell you what, when you see one as close as where I am, where I was to it, it will never leave your mind. You won't care who makes fun of you, who says how many green men. You will not pay any attention to it. It'll go right past you because you know what you've seen to be real.
Yeah, I've seen several.
This was something that you would have to see with your own eyes to believe. But there's not many believers out there.
Oh, there's more than you think,
but
my
I
friend.
believe because I've seen it. Well, you may know more than I did. Now, I've been looking in the sky for the last 50-some years, and I haven't seen anything but airplanes and jets and balloons and stuff like that. I've never seen anything.
So when you're not looking,
compared to this.
It seems like when you're not looking, it happens. And when it happens, you had the best of it all, what you saw. And I believe once you've seen one, you can see more because you're open up to. We're going to give out. We're going to give out a phone number here.
Larry, if there wouldn't have been nobody there, I would have walked over to that thing.
Wow, I would have too.
I would have walked over.
Of course, the radiation put up.
I would have been curious. I wanted to go, but I know if I go, they're going to get me, man. They got the area roped off. They're going to get me, man. There wasn't one of them. There must have been 50 of them.
Wow, and they meant business.
Yeah.
Rifles and all, huh?
I can tell you they come in the back of a big truck.
Mm.
There was 2 truckloads of them. I was there. I seen it all.
Yeah.
But they had a generator. They lit that thing up. They had a generator on a separate truck. They lit that thing up. And what I seen, I didn't want to believe what I was seeing.
We're going to give out a number here. Stand by, Kenneth. Stand by.
To call UFO Talk Radio, The Glenn Larry Show, deep in the dark desert of Nevada, call 702-874-1114. North of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. West of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. And south of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. And east of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. First time callers, call 702-874-1114. And if you just want to talk to the Glenn Larry Show, call 702-874-1114. And now, back to the Glenn Larry Show.
Oh, yes, and we have Kenneth on the air. This story of 1967, where he saw up close a UFO, and it changed his life. You'll never forget about it. Those lines are open, everybody, so if you want to talk to him about this, what he saw, with your questions, our lines are open. Now, he's on the Prump International line. He's called in. He's on. So it leaves me 2 lines open, 874-1114 and 874-1113. So those 2 lines are open. And if I can also conference call you guys, if you want to talk together, give me your first name, please, and where you're from when you call. And this is an incredible story. Gosh, and you're going on 75 now, correct? And
correct.
And you've got this story, and you've got to get it out. And I just feel out there, there's somebody else out there that may be listening to this show that may know what you know. And it may be a military officer that might have been there, that's maybe retired. Now he can tell the story. So you're not alone, although you're the only one who spoke up about this. Now, I know they take an oath, what have you, that they will not say and whatever it is. But many have spoken out about the UFOs and unidentified flying objects that they've came across and worked on and picked up and took away. And I mean, it's coming out like you wouldn't believe. And it's there. It's real. We have a space force. It's the real thing, folks. They are real. UFOs are a real thing. These crafts are not made here. They're from another planet. And back in the time of 1967, there's not a craft like that we made. No. So 1947, of course, as you know, the Roswell thing, that's when it really kind of popped open the lid. But now here we are in 1967, and the 60s were quite big with UFOs. They faded out and came back in the 70s. I don't know if they just have an agenda when they're going to arrive and come back and forth. Who knows? But you saw yours. Now, when this door was open, did it land with it open, or would it land then it opened?
Well, it may have been open. It may not have been. I didn't notice the opening until the area was lit up.
Uh-huh.
Now, there is one person that may know a little bit about the story. Is Jack Fry Jr.
Okay.
His daddy's the one that towed the cruiser car.
Okay.
And he is now back open in Somerdale, Pennsylvania.
And that's where I can get a hold of this guy, Jack?
Jack Fry.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He's about I would say, from where he is to where this thing landed, I would say is 2 miles.
2 miles. Okay.
Where his business is right now, it's 2 miles.
Got you.
I believe he may shed a little light from maybe something his daddy may have told him.
Well,
his daddy was silenced. His daddy had a visitor. He was silenced.
Yeah, most of
You
them
would
are.
never talk about it again. I'm not ashamed to talk about it or afraid to talk about it because it's 70, going on 75 on August 23rd. What are they going to do to me?
Right. Huh. Well, as they say,
I'm at the age where I don't care.
Yeah, right. Well,
somebody's got to see the same thing I've seen.
That's right. I truly believe that.
Somebody out there has got to see it. I know there was a lot of people after this incident was reported. There was a lot of people went out there and spent days and weeks out there, but nothing never happened again.
Yeah, gosh. And sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. God,
but I gotta tell this story because everybody has passed on. But I did make the one police officer come to my place of business. I had a sporting goods store along the river. And I said, before you die, Bill, his name was Bill Pelton. I said, before you die, Bill, I want you to tell my wife the story of what you did to the front end of that cruiser car. That thing scared you that bad. And it had no lights. It had no lights. I guess he looked up there and saw it. And the Tower Road back then was pretty nasty road. And he tried to get away, and I guess he didn't make it. Ripped the wheels out from under the cruiser car. But Jack Fry towed that car. That's got to be someplace in East Pennsburg Township's police reports. It's got to be there.
Yeah.
They can't make everything disappear.
No,
they can't make it all disappear.
No, but they're pretty good at it.
But that's who towed the car, and his boy's still living, and he's got a paint shop and body shop in Somerdale, Pennsylvania.
I shall talk to him. Yeah. God, I sure appreciate it. Let's give this number out one more time, and I want you folks to give us a call out there. 1113 is open too.
To call UFO Talk Radio, the Glenn Larry Show, deep in the dark desert of Nevada, call 702-874-1114. North of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. West of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. And south of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. And east of the Rockies, call 702-874-1114. First-time callers, call 702-874-1114. And if you just want to talk to the Glenn Larry Show, call 702-874-1114.
Oh, yes, you got to give us a call and talk to this man. I know a lot of you folks listen to the shows later on. We are on Facebook, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Spreaker, Spotify, and also iHeartRadio is what the big ones we're on. And you can catch the show on that also. Also, you can catch us on SoundCloud, and another one, I believe it's, we're on Twitter and a couple other ones, but we're out there. And we'd love to have you give us a call, 702-874-1113, or 1114, 702-874-1113, or 1114. I want you to talk to this gentleman. He has a lot to say about UFOs. Well, Kenneth, after you, the next day, what'd you do after you saw this UFO?
I told a few people and got made fun of because no witnesses, only the police. And I did, it was about 20 years later, I said something to one of the police officers, and he said, now, Ken, you know that never happened. I said, Glenn Ninkovich was his name. He was in East Pennsburg Cop. I said, Glenn, are you going to tell me you didn't see what I saw? He said, that never happened. Whether somebody got the Glenn, I don't know. Glenn was a nice cop, a nice police officer, but
yeah, I'm
he refused to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm sure that he was told to be quiet. In those days, they threatened you, your family, everybody, and they still do today. But it shows like this that we get the truth out. And of course, there's another show called Night Dreams Talk Radio. Good friend of mine, Gary, up there, Anderson, great guy, does a great job. He's been on radio all his life. New Art Bell also, and he has fascinating. I've had some folks who've been on his show too, and he's got a great show. You get a chance to tune into his show too. But listen, Kenneth. So when you told your wife, how did she react?
I don't know. She's right here beside me. She didn't really want to believe it because she didn't see it. But
right, yeah, seeing's believing, as
I
they say.
believe that after being with me over 50 years, I think she believes me.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, gosh, I believe you.
I mean, it was something, Larry, you would never get the opportunity. Maybe you will. But
I hope so.
Something I've never seen anything like it, or never got the opportunity to be that close to something that you don't know what it is.
Right.
Back then, they made a joke out of that kind of stuff, but today, maybe. But I know there's got to be somebody out there from the Enola area, the Somerdale area, the Marysville, Duncan. Somebody out there has got to know the same thing I know. Maybe they didn't see the same thing I did, but somebody out there has got to know. Somebody's got to be able to drop the beans somehow, or so let other people know that this is for real.
Yeah, of course, and of course, in that other incident in the 70s, he told them to shut up too, and threatened those people's lives, and they're very good at it. And of course, now once you told your police officer friend, did anybody come around? Black guys in black or anything like that bother you at all for anything?
No.
Good.
No. I had two guys come in my store along the river and question me about it, and I told them where it was, and they did come back and tell me it is some story, but that's all I know. That's all I know. But then it's just something nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to laugh at you if you talk about it. And I say, well, you can laugh all you want. I know what I've seen. I was there. I've seen it.
Right.
But it was the way it left. No noise. No dirt. No, nothing.
Did it just like shoot straight up?
It just
fast?
Like it was. It did. No, it just went up nice and slow, and it got up there. I don't know how many feet, and blink, it was gone. It just disappeared.
Yeah.
It was like a bubble.
Right. Wow.
It was like it was inside of a bubble or something. But you would think there'd be a noise or something. There was nothing.
Wow.
Now I see them on TV and stuff, and I just I said, well, this don't look like anything I ever saw.
Yeah, you saw something different. Yeah. I've heard these.
What I saw wasn't. What I saw, Larry, wasn't something that I've seen on TV. This thing had no lights.
Very unique.
No lights.
Yeah.
None.
And did it have any markings on the craft itself? Did you see anything at all? Was it?
No. If it would have, I couldn't have seen it at my distance.
Okay, but it seemed like it didn't have any type of rivets, or was it all just like molded type of thing, you think, or how did?
No, it had like some fins on the sides going around it.
Oh.
But I couldn't tell you what or if anything was written on it, because if you go to where this happened, I can take anybody there. You can see about the distance I was to the houses on the other side of the street.
Right.
Now that side of the street where that landed, there is no houses. There's just I would say it's some type of a building that transmits signals.
Right.
It comes down from the towers up on Tower Road.
Was that there?
That area has changed.
Okay, but that's that place that you're talking about right now is not there anymore?
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, it is. And the same building's there. Only there's some more like antennas or wherever they got in the back part of it. I looked at it the last time I was up, which was last year. I said, I don't believe anything that big is going to land in there now without taking out those cables and stuff.
Obviously, that's an antenna. That's the place where they have all their communications for that area, and also broadcasting and ham radio. It's called the antenna farm. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, there's a big one up in the top of that mountain where this thing come down from. There's a big one up there.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one on both sides of the river. There's two of those transmitting towers.
Right.
The big one is in the top of the mountain in Roberts Valley.
Okay.
Anybody that knows anything about the area, there's one up there in Roberts Valley. You're not allowed to go up there to that tower, but don't worry about it. They got signs up, but there ain't nobody up there. You can drive up and check that operation out. That's a big one up there.
Oh, I bet it is.
Ooh, man, I don't know how many hundreds of feet that thing is up. I wouldn't want to go up there, but it's got lights on it and everything else.
Yeah.
And the one on Power Road has lights on it too, but it's nothing like compared to the one on the other side of the river. That's a big one. That's up in the top of Roberts Valley.
Roberts Valley. Okay.
It's right on Front Street. You can turn and go up Roberts Valley. You got to go way up in the very top of the mountain. It's beautiful up there. What you see.
Right. Gosh, I'll tell you.
I wish I could meet with you up there sometime and show you this.
Well, if I get out into your area, I will definitely come and see you. We're going to talk. In fact, I'm going to try to get a hold of these different names that you gave me and do some research.
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, you're in Florida.
I live in Florida now, but I can come up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it takes me 17 and a half hours to drive.
Right, yeah.
I don't mind the drive. I drive straight through.
Do you ever go to any conventions at all, UFO conventions or anything like that? Have you thought about it?
No, I didn't want to be laughed at.
No, you won't be laughed at. No. Trust me, these are people that believe, and I'll tell you, there's more folks now at NASA. I mean, Senator Reid, this is all there now. They've been seen by the Air Force and the Army. They're all saying yes, it is, and they're giving us little by little, but they're not giving the whole cake to us. They're giving us pieces of the cake. You see what I'm saying? But there are more and more folks like yourself.
I lived at Fort Indian Town Gap for the last 10 years before I moved to Florida here 7 years ago. And I heard that one had crash landed out there, and that you used to pick that story up on the computer, but that story has done disappeared too.
Where was that at again, please?
Fort Indian Town Gap.
Okay. And what year was this?
There's an area in the mountains they call the dead zone. That's where this thing landed.
What year?
You have to check this out because that I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
Can you give me kind of what?
No.
60s, 70s, or? I'll look at that.
That would probably been in. I would say maybe early 80s.
Okay, I need that. Okay.
Now I can give you a guy that can tell you about it.
All right, do so, please.
But I guess he went hunting. In that area, and he told me you don't want to go there. He said you get a feeling like you never had before.
Oh.
But he never told me exactly where the area is. He would live on Boundary Road in Granville. His name is Kerry Zedemoyer.
Okay. I will look that up also. Gosh, I sure appreciate that.
Kerry Zedemoyer is his name. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah. I'm going to give out.
Because you'll see a big farm. You'll see a big farm there on the corner. That's where I lived, with all the big buildings behind for 10 years before I come here to Florida.
Okay. I'm going to give the number out again. 702-874-1114. Or 702-874-1113. I want to hear your story, and you may want to talk to Kenneth about what he saw, and maybe you have a story similar. We'll take the calls. We have got not much time left, So if you do call, we'll make sure you get some of that honey, by the way. Oh, yes. And I will send you some honey also, my friend, for being on the station, and send you a coffee cup. How's that sound, Kenneth?
That sounds perfect.
Good, buddy. And I'll get you.
Maybe if I show your coffee cup to them, they'll start laughing. Because people have actually made a joke out of this thing. I said, it ain't no joke, buddy. They're here.
Oh, they're here.
I said, I don't know if they're midgets or what they are, but they're here.
Well, they're all sizes and all shapes, and I guess they're all sorts of type of aliens.
I was hoping one of those guys would crawl in that thing, because the opening wasn't very big, but nobody went in there. They just stood out there and took pictures. But it was one flash, and then they'd throw the cubo in or whatever it was, and it'd be another flash, and it wasn't like flash back then.
Right, the old screw the bulb in and hopefully it goes off.
Yeah, you'd have had a been there to see what I've seen, and they can't deny it because they took pictures of it. They know what it is. Somebody knows what it is.
Yeah, that'll be done.
I couldn't have been the only one. Well, I was the only one that I know in that area behind them houses.
Yeah.
But if you go there and talk to them people in them houses, they don't really want to talk to you because they claim things happen in those houses. I don't know what for things. I know the one place had a lot of problem with a puddle of water in the middle of the floor. And I said, well, I don't know what that has to do with a UFO. And I know there was a lot of different plumbers went in and out of the house trying to figure out why that water got in the middle of the floor, and it kept happening. But I don't, I've been away from there for a while. I don't know if that still happens or not.
When they say a lot of things,
it would be nice for you to talk to the people that live in those houses.
Yeah, I'm contacting some people that do just that. I'm trying to run about 5 or 6 radio stations. We have a call, and hello, caller, and welcome to the show. Your name and where you're from?
Hey, Glenn, this is Avery down here in Florida.
Well, Avery, thank you for calling. We have a gentleman. If you listen to the show, Keith Bair is on the line here. In 1967, he saw a landing of a UFO. Go ahead, ask him some questions, or how would you like to do that?
Yeah, Mr. Bair, how you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing bad for being here in Florida in this cold weather. They claim global warming. Well, it's 57 degrees right now. It's 57 now, going down in the 30s on Saturday.
Where are you at?
I'm in Punta Gorda, Florida.
Oh, I'm up here near Gainesville.
Oh, you're a little bit colder up that way.
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
But there ain't no snow on the ground, So, you set up at Fort Indian Town Gap?
Yep, that's where I lived the last 10 years before I moved here to Florida.
So you know where the Moonshine Church is?
Well, I heard the story about the hanging. I got the book of the blue eyes. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Oh, trust me, I've been out there in that cemetery. I did military training up there.
I've been out there at night, but I didn't see anybody running around.
Avery, did you hear the story about what he's talked about his UFO? His sighting?
Well, my computer's been the connection's slow, so yeah. It would cut out for like 3 seconds, so I would get 3 seconds of interview.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I know at Indian Town Gap, that's where they where the Army and now the Army National Guard, they do a lot of helicopter work out of there.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do.
Also, when I was up there, because I was using their training area there near Moonshine Church, and I know they do they have defense contractors come in and do a lot of testing out there too. Use their area because they can use their ranges,
right,
for the helicopters. And so what you saw, but what you saw was nothing like we had in the inventory at that time, right?
No, nothing to compare to it.
Wow.
Huh.
And I'm quite familiar with the helicopter base. Have you been out there lately? They got all the old helicopters from Vietnam on concrete pads out in the front of the place.
Oh yeah, and I think they had a 130 out there too. C-130.
Yes, they do.
But no UFOs.
Yeah, they got a lot. They got a lot of them.
No UFOs.
They got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of stuff hidden back there too. But I know how to get into it because I lived there. Everybody knew me.
Oh yeah.
I've been back to the tower back there. It's got Bin Laden up in it. I know where it's at. And they come in there and hone in on them at night. And shoot him up there. They come up out of Philadelphia.
Wow. Well, now they're
That's
over there by
an interesting place.
Because Kettsburg is kind of, relatively speaking, it's not that far away. But there was reports of that lake that's kind of southwest of Kettsburg. There's a lake down there that they were saying stuff was flying out of the lake, and they thought there was a military base under the lake or something like that, or carved into the mountain there.
I heard that too.
There's a lot of strange activity out there.
Stan Gordon could tell you all about that kind of stuff. You'd have to talk to him. He lives in Greensburg. He knows all about that area up there.
Stan Gordon, you say?
Stan Gordon, yes.
Yeah. Okay. He would know.
Hey, when you said Jack Fry, that wasn't Jack Fry of Fry Electronics, was it?
No. This guy had a body repair shop, and he had a junkyard out back of Marysville.
Okay. I just saw a thing yesterday where the Freedom of Information Act, somebody did one on the DIA looking for if there's any alien technology got into government, and they were talking about nickel titanium. And it's an interesting story. If you look at the Wikipedia page on how they discovered it, it was two scientists working for Office of Naval Research. And then they back engineered it, but it changes shape. This metal will change shape if it heats up, and it has a memory metal. And so you can change the shape of it. And when you said your craft, Mr. Bair, when you said you saw the craft and it had looked like little fins coming off of it, right?
Yes.
Did those fins look like they were attached, or did they look like they were part of the entire structure? Like, was there a seam?
I would say they were part of it, because when it left, they didn't move.
Wow. Fascinating. We've got about 3 minutes, gentlemen.
But no smells, ozone type?
Nothing. No dust, no dirt, no nothing.
Wow. You said like a bubble.
Just like a bubble.
Around the craft itself, or does the craft look like a bubble?
The craft didn't look like a bubble. It looked like a torque converter.
Yeah.
But it left like it was in a bubble.
Oh, I see.
But personally, did I see a bubble? No. But it left like it was in a bubble because it made no noise. It did nothing.
God, incredible.
And it went up to, I couldn't see it no more. Then pink, it was gone. Never seen nothing like it again.
Well, gosh. Well, there's so much being reported now. Unbelievable. And as you will.
Well, I'm glad I got to somebody that lives here in Florida that actually knows the area up there around where I lived in the Marysville and Grantville area.
Avery's been around.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. It's that's actually I fell in love with that area up there. Went one of the guys who worked with the National Guard working at that base took me up to the some flea market up there on the hill where they got the windmills, the turbines up there. Some Amish community.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about, but I don't know that much about that area.
Yeah, but I did not. The Amish get a little crazy on their horses, on their buggies.
Get out of the way.
Well, you got the Amish mafia there. You know, you heard about them.
Yeah.
That's an area where the Amish mafia is.
They get the Mennonites to do all the dirty work.
Well, listen, we're running out of time, you guys. Kenneth, I want to thank you, Kenneth, and I want to thank Avery for calling. We appreciate this. You're listening to the Glenn Larry Show.
I want to thank you for being on the air.
Well, thank you kindly, and thank you for listening.
And Gary, you're going to have him on again, right?
Oh, yeah. Glenn Larry, we'll have him on. I've been calling everything tonight. But that's okay, because that's what it's all about. I'm the Glenn Larry here live and the deep in the desert of Nevada. And once again, I do thank you for listening. And go ahead and stay on the line, gentlemen. I will take us off the airwaves. And once again, be kind, be well, and God bless everybody. And to the sick and those that are having a hard time in Texas, our prayers go out to you. I am Glenn Larry, and again, thank you for listening. This is the Glenn Larry Show.